with living on a prayer flower farm. I'm alive. COVID didn't take me out this time again. But I did lose a couple of plants. So I guess I should say current plant killer. Because I lost a few plants, guys. My status, 150 status, I transplanted, all gone. My stock plants, gone. But it's fine. I've got time. So restarting all of those seeds, it's okay. I had wondered if I should cover them because I knew a freeze was coming. I knew it was going to get really cold. But I thought I had time to go out and cover them. Lo and behold, I ended up getting COVID and not leaving my bed for 5 days. So life happens. That's the farm, right? Life happens. And that's what we're talking about today, guys, is life and flower farming. Hey, Pinky, thanks for joining. That's what our conversation is. I had somebody comment on one of my videos saying, I'd love to know how you manage farming full-time, handling a family, YouTube, and a full-time job. And I'll be the first to tell you, it's not easy. Hi, Life with Tyler. Thanks for joining me. But you've got to have the personality that likes to be busy. I enjoy being busy. I enjoy always having something to do. I don't like sitting down all the time. Hey, Chastity, welcome. Hey guys. Thank y'all for joining. Hey, Andy. So, like I said, survived COVID, lost some plants. But to talk about how to manage all four, I do want to start off with saying my kids are older. I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and they are able to help out. So they're able to clean the kitchen, do the laundry. They're able to help harvest my flowers with me. They're still not up to par with as good as I want them to be with harvesting flowers and stripping those leaves off. But they'll get there. My son is excellent. My 10-year-old, he is really good at selling flowers at the farmer's market, and he loved it. So I'm going to have him at my farmer's market a lot more with me this year. So that helps. I don't think I could do this if I had younger kids. About 5-6 years ago, we had a dairy goat farm. I've told y'all this. We had 4 or 5 female dairy goats, 2 males. Oh no, you have COVID now. It's a struggle. I'm so sorry that you have COVID, Sandy. Oh, I hope you get to feeling better. Yeah, after day 5, it kind of starts to feel better, but you'll still feel out of it for like 2 more days. But we had dairy goats, and that was our milk. We would go out in the morning and in the evening and milk all 4 female goats. We had chickens. And then after we milked in the morning, I'd get my kids up for pre-K or school, and then I'd go to my full-time job. And then I also had a quilting business. I was making custom baby quilts for people. And I also had a previously loved bridal dress shop. All at the same time. That wasn't smart. It failed. It failed, and it's okay because I learned. And now, doing the flower farm while having older kids and a full-time job in the YouTube isn't as hard as it was back then because I've got kids who can help out at the house. They're dependent. My husband helps me. He helps out. He does all the cooking because, trust me, you do not want me to cook. There are a few things I can cook. I can fry up some deer steak. I can cook some barbecue beans and tater salad. The main things in the South that I should be able to cook, I can cook. Except fried chicken. I can't cook fried chicken. Or gravy. Or pretty much anything else. I don't cook, so my husband cooks, and that helps a lot. Because while he's here cooking, I can go outside and do whatever I need on the farm, which really helps. So my job, what I do for a living, guys, is my current job title is assistant controller. I work for a healthcare clinic, multi-specialty healthcare clinic, and I handle some payroll duties. I handle accounting, business office. I handle anything they give me that day. I really don't have a job description. It really is I kind of know what I'll be doing. The end of the month is psychotic for me. The beginning of the month is psychotic. Middle of the month, easy going, do whatever they need me to do. I really love my job. I love doing the accounting. I love helping my employees with their benefits and signing them up for their insurance. Love it. And it gets stressful during the beginning of the month when I've got deadlines that have to be done. I have physician pay reports I have to do to get the physicians paid, things like that. But I work for some great people. I really do. They're very flexible. They're super nice. They're very patient. And when I started there, guys, I started out as a receptionist with no accounting knowledge whatsoever. And I actually thought I was getting fired the day they asked me to do payroll. I thought, oh my gosh, I did something really bad. I don't know what I did. They're about to fire me. But they didn't. They transferred me to payroll, and then I worked my way up to where I'm at now. And they just keep throwing stuff at me. But because my job is flexible, and because I'm able to take off whenever I need to for my kids being sick, things like that, it also allows me flexibility with the farm. Yes, it does help when I love my job. So I've got older kids helping me. I've got a job that's flexible. And then I've learned how to give and take with the farm. You've got to learn your flowers. So for instance, basil. Basil's a great example. I can't go out and harvest basil at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. when I get home. I get home around 5:30. I can't go harvest basil at 5:30. It's going to wilt, and it may come back after 24 hours, but there's a good chance it won't. So I've learned if I'm going to harvest basil, I need to do it before I go to work, or I need to wait till late in the evening to harvest it, where it's almost twilight, before I harvest the basil. So during the harvest season, what my life looks like is Monday, Tuesday, I am waking up at 5 a.m. I'm getting my hair and makeup ready for my job because they do require me to look nice. And then I go, and if it's still dark outside, I then edit my YouTube videos. And then once it starts to lighten up outside, I then go outside, harvest until it's time to take the kids to school. Take the kids to school, come back to my house, harvest some more, get dressed, go to work. After work, because I can't make it here during my lunch break, I live too far from it. After work, medical receptionist. Oh, you hate it. Sorry. That's what I started out as, was a medical receptionist. But after work, I come home, I deal with whatever I can while my husband's cooking. May have to wash them buckets. And then after supper, I go out and I harvest. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm harvesting in the evenings and before work. But in the mornings is when I edit. So every morning I edit except the weekends. Weekends I take off except to do, flower farming stuff. But the afternoons and mornings when I can see, I harvest. Friday evenings is finishing up the harvest, whatever I can for the farmer's market. And then Friday evening is then putting together all the bouquets, trying to get all the flowers organized because I like to have spare flowers to bring with me to the market so that I can make bouquets and refill buckets while I'm there. The customers really enjoy seeing all the buckets of flowers separated like that, and then seeing the buckets full of the bouquets, and then seeing me put together bouquets. I'm able to put together special orders that way. So Friday I stay up. I try to stay up past 10, but sometimes I'm up till 1. I don't know how Serena on You Can't Eat the Grass does it. By 10 p.m., my brain just starts shutting down because I'm ready to go to bed. Okay, most nights I'm in bed by 9 p.m. I'm an old person by the standard. I don't stay up late. And then Saturday morning, wake up early, load up everything, go to the market, and after market, I crash. I don't do anything for the rest of the day. I take the rest of the Saturday off and don't do anything. So flowers I'm harvesting ahead of time would be sunflowers, lilies, tulips, zinnias. I'll go ahead and harvest them. basil. Basil I'm harvesting at least on that Thursday. I'm trying to harvest all my basil on Thursday, so it'll be really hydrated and ready to go by Friday evening. Sometimes I have to harvest a little bit more basil on Friday morning, but I try not to harvest any basil on Friday. And when I do have to harvest, I hope that notification, can y'all hear that notification when it goes off? I'll put it on Do Not Disturb if y'all do. Let me know. But basil, I try not to harvest on Fridays if I can help it. Sometimes there's, oh my God, I don't have enough basil, because you will never have enough filler. Do you hear me? You will never have enough filler. Except for the 1 week where I had all fillers and no focal flowers. Yes, y'all can hear that notification? Okay, let me, 1 second. Where's my Do Not Disturb? There it is. Okay, thank you guys. That way it won't go off anymore. Don't want it going beep all the time, so thanks for letting me know. But tulips, you can harvest those weeks in advance, put them in the fridge. Sunflowers, I was able to store those in the refrigerator for the most part. I would advise using flower food when you harvest these flowers, because if you watch my sunflower disaster video, that's what happened to my sunflowers. I harvested them early because a hurricane was coming, and I was scared that it would hit us and take out my flowers. And what happened was I completely forgot to put flower food in the flower buckets. And I went to grab my sunflowers and use them, and the heads just went. You can't use sunflowers with heads like this. So that was a hard lesson. Use flower food. Do not forget to use flower food, and change your buckets of water at least every other day. And God, that was really bad when that happened. I lost so many sunflowers. But now I know. Don't forget the flower food. Things that I can wait up to the day of to harvest. I say day of Friday. I'll wait for gomphrena, celosa, things like that. You don't have to harvest days in advance. You can just go ahead and harvest whenever it's close to time. Status is a good one you can harvest early. It'll stay good for a while. Chrysal. Chrysal is the flower food I use. I was buying the bulk 100 packs, but I think I'm going to actually order from their website, the Chrysal website, the big bucket. And then I'll still have the individual packs that I put at the front of my stand. I pass those out to my customers for free so that they can take one. They don't cost that much, so I'll let them take one to keep their flowers as long as possible, with the idea of trying not to let their flowers last longer than a week, so that they have to come back and see me. Because I had one lady show up, she went, "Jessie, your flowers are still beautiful. I don't need any flowers this week." That is the wrong thing to say to a flower farmer. It's like, okay, got to harvest a little earlier, shorten that vase life just a little bit, because I need you to need me so I can make money. But I do have the video, Cost of Flower Farming. It will be going up Sunday. I'm very excited for y'all to see that. My husband about had a heart attack when I was editing, and he heard the number. I was like, we've talked about this. You knew this was coming. You've heard this number. No, I haven't. Yes, you have. It's okay. Hopefully this year we'll make some money. I did have some questions that I was going to answer. I don't know if Penny's on here yet or not. But where did I put my question? There we go. Celosa. Issues growing celosa. So Penny said that she was having issues growing celosa, especially the ruby parfait, that they were really slow. And for the ruby, most celosa germinates really easy, grows pretty easy for me. Just follow the directions on the Johnny's packet and make sure that you've got a fan going and things like that. However, the ruby parfait, I don't know what video it is, but I complained about the ruby parfait taking very long time to germinate and grow. It's just something specific about that celosa. Hey Penny, I'm answering your question about the celosa. The ruby parfait, it takes forever. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. If the rest of your celosa is growing fine, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that celosa. when I grew Ruby Parfait, all my other Celosa grew and germinated perfectly except it. It took forever compared to the other Celosa. Once it got going, though, a couple inches tall, it did fine. But that initial germination and to like the first 3 or 4 sets of leaves took forever for the Ruby Parfait. So if you're growing Ruby Parfait for the first time, be aware it's a slow grower. Even when it's hot, it's a slow grower. And then I believe, Penny, you had asked about algae growth. Whew, algae. So I live in Louisiana, zone 8B, and it is very humid here. We are nothing but humid, and I was having issues as well with algae developing on the top of my seed trays my first year, and I couldn't figure out why. And hey, Candace, the reason I was having algae growth is just because it was so humid in my room, my grow room, and I didn't have any air going. And having a fan going kind of helped, but what really helped me was vermiculite. Vermiculite is what you need to help battle algae before it starts. Freesia. I have actually, Sarah, I'll get to that in just a minute. But vermiculite, if you put, whenever you start your seeds, put a fine layer of vermiculite on top. That's going to help control that moisture and help the algae. Yes, Candace, it is a game changer. I was so against vermiculite and buying it at first because it was so expensive for a bag of it, but it lasts forever. I've been using the same bag since this time last year, and it's still halfway full. It doesn't take much. So for algae, invest in some vermiculite and give that a try, and then have the fans going to help air move around your seedling room and stuff like that. Freesia. So I have grown Freesia. I apparently had ordered Freesia. I don't remember ordering it, but it came in one of my bulb mixes, I think is what happened. And I planted it. And apparently here, I should have covered it or waited to plant it later because it promptly sprouted up and then died whenever we had snowstorms because I didn't cover it. Yeah, and that's a great point. The fan does help your stems on your seedlings get tougher because when you set them outside, they're going to be, having to deal with rain, wind, all that. So having a fan gently blow on them and move the air around really helps those stems as well. I also saw where someone had talked about leggy seedlings on Facebook. Make sure, I know everybody says you can put stuff in a windowsill, and you can, but at some point you really either need to put it outside or have a light that's like right up on the seedlings to help those stems, because if the light's too far away, you're going to get those leggy seedlings, and you don't want leggy seedlings. What I've done, if I did get a leggy seedling for some reason, I would just bury it up to the first true leaves. So I would, dig my hole deep and just throw it in there and bury it up to the first true leaves because hopefully that would help it. Yeah, a window is not the ideal place to grow your seedlings. You can. Wouldn't recommend it, not unless it stays really bright all the time. You're just not getting the amount of light that you could, really. Your better chance would be to get a seed tray with a plastic dome, tape that sucker, and set it outside in the sun. And then just make sure you check your water level every once in a while. Of course, I tried to do that, but that was with Bells of Ireland. It didn't work out. But I would imagine with other seeds, if you don't have a grow light system, maybe something to try just to see. Because then you could just take off the lid once they germinate, and that would also shorten your hardening off process. You would just need to be wary of when you're getting rain or something and move them inside as you need to. That may be something to try, because I have run out of space in my grow light area. I know, Andy, Bells of Ireland are a pain. I'm giving them one more try this year. I've had one germinate out of the little areas that I seeded. I put like 10 to 15 seeds in one area, in one little hole each that I burned into the landscape fabric, and only one hole out of 20 germinated, even though I had 10 seeds per hole. I'm about to just give up on it. I would love to have bells of Ireland, but at this point, I don't know if I can make it work. Never saw any germinating. Yeah, I just had one. But they do say what you can do is, have you tried the paper towel method? I see where a lot of people have success with putting them in a wet paper towel in a Ziploc bag or something like that. So you may Google the paper towel method if you really want to try to germinate them. I think that's what Nicole at Flower Hill Farm did to get hers to germinate. And once they sprout on the paper towel, you take them and put them in your soil plugs or outside wherever. I may try that next too because I really want some bells of Ireland. And then make sure that you're putting them in the refrigerator. You know, guys, some of these seeds that start early in the spring, make sure that you've had them in the fridge for a few weeks. Some things don't germinate well unless you do that. I did try winter sowing in the milk jug last year. It did not go well. I will not be doing that this year just because the sheer volume that I'm growing at this year, the milk jugs just aren't feasible for what I do now. I think it's a great idea for a home gardener. I may try it. Maybe I'll try it again with one or two things. I have decided the front of my house that we live in for 4 years now really is ugly. There's no landscaping. So I may take on that project, see now that I can actually grow plants. May see if I can get that to work this year. Flowers I'm growing this year. So I am growing sunflowers, a lot more sunflowers. I actually put all my sunflowers into its own spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet last night, and I have 20,000 seeds. Oh my God. All right, well, good night. Thanks for joining me though. But 20,000 sunflower seeds. I am growing the Double Click series, the panache, however you say it, the ones that are like a goldy double with a beautiful bright dark green, not bright, a dark green center. I'm also growing the Sunburst Greenburst, where it's the same thing, but it's a light green center. I'm growing a bunch of Pro Cut, regular looking orange sunflowers that are good for florist and uniformity. I'm growing a lot of the White Knights, a lot of those. I have a list. Sunburst Eclair, Aurora, Sunrich Summer Providence, a lot of them. And then I'm also growing more zinnias this year because they're a must-have, and they're just so easy. But I am going to start them inside this year. Last year I tried to direct sow. If you watch my Zinnia Queen video, you will see there was a mega storm after sowing my seeds, and it was a disaster with zinnias last year. But that's okay. Learn some things. So I'm going to start zinnias inside this year and transplant. I will be growing more Gomphrena. Well, I say more Gomphrena. I'm going to be growing different varieties of Gomphrena, but less Gomphrena because that thing took over. It was like the blob. And then I'll also be growing Celosa. I got a green coxcomb Celosa, which I'm pretty excited. Yes, Andy, I mowed them down because they needed to be mowed down. The zinnias had to go. It was bad. When the grass is taller than I am, you gotta do something. And let's see, Celosa, Amaranth. I'm gonna try to grow 2 separate areas of Amaranth because I have flea beetles. Y'all, if you haven't grown Amaranth before, flea beetles love Amaranth. They won't attack anything else as bad, but they will eat and make the leaves look like green lace. So I think I'll do one section of Amaranth and then plant another section somewhere else. So maybe one of them will become like the host area. We'll see. Growing lots of snapdragons. I'm growing lilies. I ordered double oriental lilies, Asiatic lilies or something from Ownings. I'm waiting on those to get in. I am growing glads. I ordered a bunch of glads from J Wholesale for the Small Scale Grower, the ruffly kind. Very excited for those. And I will be succession planting those this year. I didn't realize they would all grow at once. So learned that last year. Succession plant your bulbs, your lilies, and your glads so that they last longer in the season. Gosh, so many plants. You know, Mrs. Byrne lemon basil is my go-to filler. I'll be growing way more of it. More cinnamon basil. I will not be growing any more of the Amaretto purple basil. I didn't like it. It stunk. And to me, it just didn't look as good. So I won't be growing that this year. I've got so many seeds. Oh my goodness, so many seeds. Yes, it was lavanda, bee balm, lavanda, whatever it's called. Pincushion flower, I'll be growing that. I said I would not grow any more foxglove, but I'm growing more foxglove. The ranunculus, lisianthus, snapdragons, zinnias, and sunflowers, Candace. I am scared to death of lisianthus. The fact that you have to care for it for so long really intimidates me. I think maybe I'll give it a go next year. For my zone 8, I think Lisa says I can start it like seedling wise in the summer and plant it out in September and have it go through. I think don't use that as a education thing or try to actually do that. Go research before you actually do that. I think she said I can do that we can carry it over for a cool flower. I'll have to look. And maybe I just don't want to dedicate too much space to it. I'm growing dahlias this year. This will be my 3rd attempt at dahlias. I'm going to try and build a shade structure because apparently they need shade for where we're at. Paper towel method works. Dino method. Yeah, paper towel method apparently is a great way to get seeds to germinate. I'm growing Nigelia. Did I say it right? Nigelia. Are you proud of me saying it right? Bachelor buttons. What else am I growing? Stock. So like I said, all my stock died. So restarting the stock, restarting the status. Because status just completely won me over last year. So I got lots of different colors of status. Lots of yarrow. Oh, I bet they are beautiful. Oh, if lisianthus lasts for weeks in the vase, I don't know if I want it then. Because I need them to be able to buy the flowers from me every week. But that's the game plan. I'll also be doing mason jars. I bought some ribbon. I'm going to practice making bows. I'm going to learn how to make bows. And for Mother's Day, the game plan is I have these beautiful tulips that should maybe be around by that point. And I'm going to tie pretty colorful ribbon around the mason jar with a bow and have the tulips in there or the ranunculus and anemones and see how that goes. I think so. I think I ordered those. To be quite honest, I've got to start putting what I ordered from Jake into a spreadsheet or something. Because I order and then I forget what I ordered or how many I ordered. And then, you know, next thing I know, I've got an invoice for like $500. So I've got to start writing down and buying responsibly from Jake. Because, oh my gosh, he got me with the tulips this year. And then the glads, I kind of kept up with the actual number of how many I ordered, but not of specifically the names of what I ordered. So, we'll see on that. Yeah, I put them all on a clipboard. Well, half the time what happens is I'm at work on my lunch break, or I'm doing something, scrolling in the checkout line, like, ooh, Jake has flowers for sale. Order. Jake, I'll take all of these. And, yeah. Then I get home and I get busy and I just forget about it. Guys, Google Calendar is like my thing. It keeps me organized. How to grow the glads, Kim, or lisianthus? Which one? Are you talking about the glads? I know, I've got to stop it, Candace. I know. Trust me, when you watch this Sunday's video, you will. Don't come for me, okay? Glads, they're super easy. You just dig a hole, put them in the ground. I think it's verify the depth, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 to 6 inches for the glad corns. You'll put them in. There's a certain face up. They do have a direction that you got to go. you'll be able to tell. I believe the flat round side is what goes from the bottom. Sometimes they're kind of hard to tell. And then once you have them in the ground, if you're growing them for flower farming, make sure that you put up netting so that they grow straight. And then I would put, compost over once you plant them so they've got something going. And apparently the deer eat them. Thank you for letting me know that. Deer didn't bother mine last year, but I was wondering if that was going to happen. I believe they're the same as regular glads. They're just ruffly, but you'll plant them the same way. And it's kind of like you've got all the different kinds of sunflowers, but you'll still plant it the same way. Oh, so speaking of deer and rabbit, I have been thinking about a deer fence. I know. I've said I do not want a fence. What did you get now? But I've been fighting the fence. This is, my second year of flower farming, and I think last year they kept eating my ranunculus, but they didn't bother my sunflowers or majority of the rest of the farm. But they've already munched down on the lettuces I had come up. They took out a good chunk of 10 or so tulips that came up before I had covered them. They're covered now. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I watched Nicole Flower Hill Farms deer fence video, and I think I'm going to do something pretty much exactly the same way. And for my area, not including the bulb bed, did I do a draw? I'll get on the plugs in just a second. It's going to be close to $3,000 for a deer fence. So I don't know if I'll have it this year, but it may be something that I pay for and have next year. This year I'm trying to find some long bamboo pole things and do the what's it called? Fishing line, the invisible fishing line around it. And Candace, girl, I told my parents, y'all come and hunt, come take out these deer. But do the fishing line method. They said that if they can't see what they're running into, they won't jump. Not 100% proof, but something to try. And it would be a cheap way to try and keep them from getting in the garden. Last year what I did was I planted marigolds and plants that didn't smell that great all around my sunflowers on the outer areas. And I think that helped. But once again, all it takes is one deer going, let me try this, and then I'll have all my sunflowers gone. Yeah, I hate the deer. My family are hunters, and yeah, they all hunt. I need them to come hunt on my land and take care of these deer for me. I'm not a hunter. I can't do it. I went squirrel hunting with my mom once, and yeah, I can eat it all day long, but I can't kill it. When I had to put down a goat or a chicken, I would just cry my eyes out. I can't do it. So I do believe animals that are loved and raised with love taste the best. Just saying. But, gosh, what was that question? What was your question? I saw it. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I always forget about that option. Thanks. Okay, the trial plugs. I did not order the plugs from Jake, so I don't know if I'll be ordering plugs again. I ordered plugs from Farmer Bailey back in August with a September ship date. I ordered Campanula, the Canterbury bells. I ordered Barblurum, and Sea Holly. I ordered 3 plug trays, and they came in and they were beautiful. They were great. Farmer Bailey did a great job. I highly recommend Farmer Bailey if you're looking for plugs. But I wasn't ready to put them in the ground yet. I was still pulling up landscape fabric and plastic and getting compost put in. So they sat there, and they all died. Every single seedling died. So it's not sorry guys, I'm not sure what's going on with my phone signal. It's cutting in and out. Those of you who are being affected. But letting those seedlings, it's kind of hard. Out of the 30 or so that I started, I've got 5. I had to restart some of them. I used up the rest of my canterbury seeds to try and get them. Those are new. I haven't grown those before. This is my first time growing them. And once again, I was late to the game. It's a large area that I'm growing in, but I'm using up all the area. So it's kind of hard to stop the flower farm production and then get fall seeds started for the next year. Okay, so with being in my zone, I'm able to fall plant a lot of seedlings, a lot of flowers, and have them for the next year. Yes, I love Chinese forget-me-nots. And Chinese forget-me-nots are actually sitting in my seedling room needing to go out. I almost lost them. When I had COVID, guys, I'm not kidding, I was out from Monday through like Saturday. I just couldn't think or do anything. I literally laid in bed. And I asked my husband, I think on Wednesday or Thursday, I said, how are my seedlings looking? Are they okay? Because I figured they were probably getting thirsty by this point. He's like, oh, they look fine. They're great. Because he was sleeping on the couch, the sleeper sofa in my seedling room. So I thought, okay, good. I don't have to worry about my seedlings. I'll be okay. Well, come Saturday, I'm able to get out of my bed and kind of walk around. My seedlings were not okay. They were so dry. They were starting to kind of wilt. Like, you let my seedlings die. So immediately, got them into water. They all look better. They're all okay. I only lost 2 or 3 seedlings. Man, it just, life. Farm life. You just gotta roll with the punches. The good thing about fall sowing and these cool flowers is if they all die, like my stock and my status, I've got time to restart them and get them in the ground. What I did find though, I watched Lisa's lives. I don't know if y'all watch the Gardener's Workshop live videos that she does. Her status, she didn't have to cover, but it was further along than mine. It had time to get those roots in. So a lesson I've learned this year from the fall sowing of my cool season flowers is I really do need to get them in the ground earlier than I did this year. That's what happened with my status. I think if I had planted that status back in early November into the ground, they would have survived. But I didn't plant them till a week or 2 before I got COVID, and they didn't have time to set roots. And then the cold came and it just took them out. If I had covered them with a row cover, they would have been okay. So it's one of those things you can read cool flowers front and back. You can read the Cut Flower Garden by Florette. You can do all this research, guys. But until you start actually doing it, you're not really going to know what works for you in your zone in your garden. The only way for you to really know is if you connect with another flower farmer who lives close by. Because Zone B doesn't really tell you much. It lets you know what plants can survive. However, Zone B here in Louisiana, it's probably a little different than Zone B in California. So, we're learning. It's part of it. That's what I'm telling myself as I lose plants and things don't go according to plan is you're in your 2nd year of growing. You're learning. It's part of it. It stinks. But before we know it, we'll be overflowing with flowers. And I will be throwing money in the air and going, yeah, flower farm. It's just getting there is hard. I did hear from my coworkers, there's a flower farmer selling flowers at the farmer market. I was like, what? Who is moving in on my territory? And who has flowers at this time of year? So, I'm just joking about the territory. It's just fun to say that. I'm going to have to go up to the farmer's market and see who's selling flowers and what in the world are they selling at this time of year. The only thing I've got blooming is anemones, Oh, is the mic cutting out, babe? Y'all, do I sound okay, or is it cutting out again? I know it buffered for a little bit, but if the mic is bad, let me know, guys. I'll try and manage issues as I can. But go see who's selling flowers and what flowers they have growing. I've got anemones growing 2 months ahead of time. Same here. It sucks going out in the morning. Yeah. Cutting out. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see. I may have to just go external. Okay, we'll just go external. So different audio. But if the mic's cutting out, I'll just take it off and we'll make it work that way. But my anemones, I know now, plant those in January. There you go. Is that better? It'll be a little quieter now, but at least it won't be going in and out. Sorry about that audio, guys. Let me know when it does it. Talk louder now. Okay, I'll talk louder. But anemones plant in January. Tulips plant in January. I've got tulips sprouting from the ground because of the warm weather. I had those in the fridge for maybe 8 weeks, and then we were just so warm. I'm really scared about short stems. But that's okay. It'll just be like 2,000 of them that are short. And then the ones that I planted in January will definitely be good because they were in the refrigerator for 12 weeks. So, yeah, give and take. I'll do little short mason jars with tulips if I have short stems. We'll work around it. It'll be okay. You gotta flow with the punches, right? I have decided I am going to start spraying fertilizer on the plants during the season. So last year, I only fertilized the ground as I made new beds. So for instance, when I planted the zinnias, I threw in compost and then synthetic fertilizer. And then after I mowed all my zinnias down and ripped them out, I then did another round. But some of the flowers who stay in the ground and don't get ripped out for long periods of time need more fertilizer, I think, than what they were getting in order to go to their full potential. So I think I'm going to look into some fish emulsion or something to spray that I can spray in the evenings on the leaves that will soak in. So see how that goes. My sunflowers, when succession planting sunflowers, I do compost that after every time. There was one instance when I didn't add any compost or fertilizer back into the soil after replanting a sunflower plot, and that was a bad decision. Those sunflowers looked so sad. So if you're succession planting and ripping out those sunflowers and putting new ones in, be sure you're adding back to your soil, because that was bad. Use the fish fertilizer only during vegetative growth. Then switch to something with less nitrogen. All right, thank you, Candace. I will keep that in mind. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Girl, I don't know why it's so expensive, but it is, isn't it? I like just fertilizer in general is expensive, man. I used the Neptune's Harvest, and I was looking for my bottle to fertilize my seedlings the other day, and I can't find it. And it still had some in it. I'm wondering if one of the kids threw it away, because, I mean, you know, I had drippage on the side, and I'm pretty sure it didn't smell that great. So it might have gotten thrown away. And it's a big commercial jug. Still had some left. So I'll have to order some more Neptune's Harvest from Amazon and get it in so I can fertilize my seedlings. I'm having snapdragons issues this year. Use water from your fish tank. No, I wouldn't think it's the same. But hey, if it works, you know. Biotone or even garden tone is worth every penny. Okay, so the biotone, garden tone, let me tell you something about that. I believe in using Espoma products because Laura recommends it. However, I talked to my local nursery, farm and garden center, and they can only get me the small bags. They refuse to order me the giant 20-pound bags that you can get of it, which is very frustrating. So I've got to find a way. I don't know if I need to drive somewhere further out, but like Ace, my local A stores don't have it. Lowe's, they only carry the small bags. I cannot find the big bags, and that's what I need for what I'm growing on is the giant bags of espoma with the bulb tone and biotone. Because, you know, if Lord uses it, you see how she grows things. I want to grow things like she grows things. Lord, come, give me your green thumb. Man, that girl can grow some flowers. So, you know, just gotta, yeah, Amazon's so expensive. Yeah, $65 for a bag. And, I'm not paying $65 for a bag of fertilizer. So what I've been doing is for the grain fertilizers, I use the synthetic. I took my little sheet that I got from the soil samples from my ag extension office, and I took it to my farm and garden store and said, I need this, this, and this at these percentages, and they gave me a bag of each, and then I have to scoop it out and kind of measure it, and then I mix it up, and then I take it out and throw it out. Rabbit poop. Yeah, don't have that. However, in my front yard, you can tell where the dogs go to the bathroom. We've got nice, beautiful green spots of grass in the front yard where they go. If I had chickens, I could use the chicken manure, and that would be great, but we don't have chickens anymore because, hello, foxes took them out. We have coyotes here. I don't go outside at night because you can hear them. So cheap herring and out in the blender. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm very excited though for this upcoming season, guys. It's gonna be great. Do y'all have any flowers that y'all are just super excited to grow this year? Something that you're trying to grow? For 2 years, Candace? How big of an area though are you using it on? Yeah. She doesn't have to contend with the humidity. Oh my goodness, guys. It's so frustrating dealing with the humidity here in Louisiana, and I'm sure anywhere else that's humid that you're living, because you can't plant the plants as close as you could. Like my zinnias, for instance. They need, to be spaced out a little bit further, or you need to, I think what some people do, oh yeah, I'm like 3 times your size, Candace. Woo. But what some people have done is they take the leaves, the bottom leaves, and they strip them to help with the airflow. So I may try to do that, but that would be a lot of leaf stripping out in the field for my zinnias and stuff to help control with that powdery mildew. We've got some kind of black spot thing that grows. It's spread by the leaf hoppers. It's just these little black spots, and they really develop, especially on my sunflowers. It'll cover the whole stem and leaves with these little black spots. And I think somebody told me to get a copper fungicide to start spraying. So I may try that this year. I really need to go talk to my ag extension office about it. I think it's something that, Flower Hill Farm had to deal with it with their zinnias. But I have it so bad here. I mean, it's got to be in the soil. It happens every year to the zinnias and the sunflowers. They get taken over by the black spot, I guess is what I would call it. Gosh, yeah. Sorry, what was that question? Get that. Why would you stay up? Really bad zinnias growing sweet pea for the first time. Dusty Miller. You don't have to send me any to try. Thank you, though, but you don't have to do that, Candace. Dusty Miller, I'm giving Dusty Miller one more try this year. I don't know if any of y'all watched it. You Can't Eat the Grass live last night, but it's the same issue. It grows so slow, and then it's short. I need it to be longer for bouquets. Yeah, the black spot just really gets out of hand. I'll try to keep up with it, but eventually just takes over. Those dang leaf hoppers. Hate leaf hoppers. They kill my aster. They spread disease everywhere. But I did have less leaf hoppers this year. I bought last year the green lace winged insects. And I bought them from Arbico Organics, I think is what it's called. I bought the eggs on the little paper sheet, and I placed it around the farm during the spring. And I think that helped out a lot, especially with the leaf hoppers. I had a lot less leaf hoppers. I didn't spray neem oil at all after June. I stopped spraying neem oil because I didn't want to hurt my good bugs. Grow 2 years. 2 years to get decent stems with Dusty Miller? Oh, that's the case. It's got to go. I don't have time to wait 2 years for it. But I stopped spraying neem oil this year after about May or June and noticed the bugs, the good bugs came. And then my green winged lace, whatever they're called, they were doing a good job eating everything but the flea beetles. I have not seen the new Astro Rose Sunflower from Baker Creek. Ooh. Okay, Candace, we just had a talk about stopping buying seeds. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't need to buy more seeds. Though I sent an order to GeoSeed for Irish Eyes Rebecca. I don't know if I'm going to get it because they haven't replied back. But they're also very backed up at the moment. They are very backed up. They put out a notice, 5 to 7 weeks on processing orders. So, FYI, if you haven't ordered seeds yet, Geo is already really backed up. Yeah, with the neem oil, I didn't feel like it really helped that much. Not with the bad bugs. The flea beetles were still bad. Leaf hoppers are just horrible, but I felt like the green laced wing insects did a really good job. So many seeds. Yeah, it's bad. Don't ever have enough seeds, just not enough garden, right? But I think I'm going to order more bugs from Arbico Organics. I wanted ladybugs, but they were always sold out of the ladybugs. So if y'all know where I can get a hold of some ladybugs during the spring, please let me know. Because they eat aphids and everything else, and that would be great. I want to fill the garden with good bugs and have that eco balance. Of course, I also ran into the issue because I wasn't spraying. I had bees sleeping in my flowers to the point where they were getting mad at me for harvesting the flowers in the evening when they were trying to sleep. Gosh, I wish I had the video camera going one day. My husband was out with me and we were harvesting sunflowers. And this poor bee kept going to the next sunflower that I was about to harvest. Well, by the third one, he got mad at me. And the next thing my husband knows is he sees me running with sunflowers across the backyard. Because I was running from the bee. It was trying to come after me. I was like, ah! Normally, you just stand still and they won't bother you. Oh no, that one I had made mad and he was about to get me. I had to run. Oh, I wish I had the camera on. It would have been hilarious. But I was running not to get stung by bee. The only bad thing about not spraying is it also means more spiders. As you saw this year, a lot of screaming and spiders. Oh, I hate spiders. I hate spiders. Hate them. But it'll be okay. We're learning. We're getting better. I hope y'all are excited to continue along this crazy journey with me. I think that's about it, guys. Do y'all have any questions or anything else? Oh, really? I did not know that, Penny. Well, that would explain it. And I mean, they would wedge up in some of the zinnias between the petals, and I wouldn't know they were in there till after I picked the flower. One day we might get bees. I would love to have some fresh honey. Yes, I know they're another good bug, but I hate them. I've gotten better. I have gotten better. I mean, I'm a little disappointed because I thought I would have snakes in the garden with the grass and stuff. I didn't have a single snake. I can handle a snake, just not spiders. I can handle other bugs, but not spiders. What am I most excited for this season? I am most excited about the tulips and the sunflowers. I am extremely excited about them and having buckets and buckets and buckets full of all these sunflowers. those are the main ones I'm excited about, are all these sunflowers. I have increased that by a lot because that is what my customers want. The second most exciting flower is statice. I'm very excited to have so much statice this year and to grow it. Only had 3 or 4 plants last year, and that was a mistake. I needed more. Yes, I will be selling at the same farmer's market. I will not be selling at different ones unless it goes badly. We do have a market in Monroe, which is about 30 to 45 minutes from me, which has a bigger population, but it also has 2 other vendors, flower vendors there. And one of the girls who is there, I've tried to talk to before about flower farming and make flower farming friends, and let's be BFFs because you flower farm, and she doesn't really want to be my friend, which is a little sad, but it's okay. She's just too busy. Yes, so the goal this year is I'm hoping to make a minimum of $800 on market, minimum. Ideally, it would be $1,000 on market, but I'm thinking realistically $800 on market. So that's what I'm going to try. When starting a business, which business site would you recommend for flowers? So what I did was I started an LLC. Thanks, Penny. Hey, Mama. That's my mom, guys. Bienville is my mama. I signed up as an LLC. How many of each plant you planted last year? And see the pictures. Oh, maybe this year, Pinky. But I did an LLC, and the reason I went with an LLC is because it keeps my farm separate. I think Nicole at Photo Farms talked about this as well. So if someone were to eat all my foxglove plants, they take them home and decide to eat them and die, or their cat dies or something like that, and they decide to sue Living on a Prayer Flower Farm, they can't take away my house or my car or anything like that. They can only sue the actual business, but they can't hurt me and my own personal finances. So that's why I went with the LLC, was to help protect myself and keep my business separate. My tax guy, Justin, is going to have a nightmare with my taxes this year. There's so much going on. But that's what I did. I set up the LLC myself. Word of the wise, do not pay. You do not pay to set up an LLC. You can pay if you want to, but I would go to an actual person that sits down with you to do it if you're going to pay. Because if you use one of the online forms, just go to the IRS website. It's free to set up an LLC. It's free, I think. Or the employer identification number. Yes, you don't have to pay. So just FYI, you can get someone to help you. Oh, thank you. Where did that come from? There we go. Thank you, Penny. That was so sweet of you for more seeds. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, now I have to go buy more seeds. See that, Casey? I have to buy more seeds now. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. But, so, any other questions, guys, before I have to go? I really enjoyed talking with all of you tonight. It feels so good to be back. And just a FYI, on this Sunday's video, there is no more seeds. I have $10. I can go buy more seeds now. But we're doing a music video. It was a skit opening for the cost of flower farming originally, but it really was. It was so cringeworthy. I was like, I can't put this at the front of it. If I put it at the front of it, anybody who's never watched me before is just going to immediately click off thinking, who is this crazy person? So I put it at the end of the video. So be sure to watch the whole video so you can watch the wonderful Making That Flower Farm Dream Money video that I did with my kids. It's hilarious. I mean, we laughed. Oh, thank you so much, Andy. Oh, speaking of which, I do want to let you guys know, I've gotten a few friends requests on Facebook. Please don't take it wrong that I'm not accepting your friend request. I just want to keep my Facebook, my personal Facebook, completely separate from the YouTube channel and my farm page. I'll chat with you all day long, but I do want to keep my personal Facebook to just local friends. So just FYI, letting y'all know I got multiples. I felt honored. I felt loved by it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, spent way too much money on seeds. Me too, girl. You just wait. Oh my gosh, it's amazing how much everything adds up. I had to explain. It's like, it didn't all happen at once. It just, the money happened over time. And then you add the shipping and everything else. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me tonight. And thank you guys for checking on me when I let y'all know that I had COVID. That was so sweet of y'all. Thank you, Pitty, for the super chat. I super appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. And business Facebook account. Yes, I have a Facebook page, business Facebook, the Facebook account, Living on a Prairie Flower Farm. That's my business page, and you can find me on there. And I post updates on there and Instagram. So that's where I'm at. Thank you guys, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.